what a pleasant summer's afternoon here on my humble farm. It's just me and my beloved
YouTube videos.
I'm so happy. Say,
R7.
them some nice
Bits.
you got there. Would be a shame if somebody ate them. No, not again, you beast! Leave my
YouTube videos.
alone. Yeah, I'm gonna eat them.
R7.
I'll eat them, and then I'm gonna eat you. Stay back! I'll shoot! Go ahead, punk. Make my day. Shoot me! Shoot me!
Gosh dang it. Yeah, I meant to send a video out last Saturday, but things happened, so, whatever. Anyways, so right now we're just going to be, forget about that, and now we're going to explore the world that I've been making with World Anvil. So, Antiqua Domus. Okay, it's not actually called Antiqua Domus, I should point this out. It's technically spelled Antiqua Domus, not Demos, but, due to the fact that I'm kind of a barbarian, I don't really, know Latin personally, so, yeah, of course that begs the question, why did you use a Latin name? And to that, I thought it sounded nice, and I still think it does, even if I mispronounce it wrong constantly. Anyways, sorry, Antiqua Domus, what is it? Well, it's basically a giant continent within this fantasy world that has about as many fantasy elements I could think of in regards to creatures and ghouls and goblins and stuff. However, of course, this isn't just a, generic fantasy world type of stuff. There's certain qualifiers and rules and stuff like that. Specifically, I've sort of retooled certain classic fantasy kind of ideas and made them into ways that I think work better, either because I feel like it's a bit more realistic compared to what I kind of envision them to be, or because I feel like certain fantasy things are just a bit overpowered, and, I kind of want to balance things out a bit. Looking at you, elves, with this kind of dynamic, I kind of want to make a sort of picturesque fantasy, but with certain other elements in it. Specifically, the main point about it is this idea that, that even though there's all these fantasy type of things could be, for most people, what's the word? Rather boring, or simple, or basic, or just normal overall. Most people don't go on fantastical adventures or have to fight off monsters every 5 seconds or anything like that. In fact, I'd say most people would never see anything particularly out of the ordinary, magical, or fantastical at all. But if you were to go out and explore the woods or into the mountains, or some dark caves, or go off into the distance, there'd be some pretty crazy and fantastical things. Not to mention, sometimes the supernatural and fantastical will come knocking at your door, trying to tear you limb from limb. So, basically the main inspiration is, real-world history and dynamics of civilizations and stuff and cultures, while also sprinkled in with, this kind of idea that you get in these old-timey maps, where, you have these sections of the continents that are like, okay, we don't really know what there is, but, the classic phrase, there be dragons, or there be monsters, or whatever the frick, That's kind of the idea I want to get about, where even though the normal world is fairly normal, the fantastical world could be very fantastical. You just gotta search around. Take a little bit of effort. Want to be very, very heavy on magic, but also light up magic in the same time. It's all purely dependent on location and time, as in what era you're involved in. Like, for example, if you're in the middle of the Orcish Wars, you're going to come across a lot of fantasy Orcish creatures that are going to be trying to kill you. Or if you're in the middle of those downtime periods, where basically it's just normal, you might see a dwarf if you're trading at the edge of your country, or an elf if you're hunting in the woods. But for the most part, normal type of stuff. And, of course, you might be thinking, well, isn't that rather boring? I was like, well, yeah, I think, honestly, I think humanity is interesting enough without any fantasy elements to begin with. So I'd say there's plenty still stuff that I could, play around with at all. But also, in addition to that, having such oversaturation of fantasy, I feel like, makes it rather difficult to really understand how things work, and not to say I'm not capable of figuring out these things, I want the world to still be rather familiar and kind of reminiscent of, again, real world kind of things. So, I think it would be honestly better if I basically combined very heavy fantasy type of elements, while at the same time not really having much in the day-to-day type of stuff. And heck, even with fantasy creatures, your average orc or your average dwarf or your average elf would probably not see anyone else other than, orcs, dwarves, or elves within their own normal life. And only if they lived on the outskirts of their civilizations and cultures, they would end up, hanging around with other peoples like humans or halflings or whatever, and or if case of a situation like a major war or something. So, and just the basic concept is I also want a bit of a playground, so to speak. A place where I could basically make any kind of story I kind of want within the fantasy genre. They could be a variety of different things and stuff like that. Take parallels of different parts of history that I find particularly interesting. Obviously none of you probably know me very well. Apart from the people who've subscribed to me, who happen to know me in person, I'm actually a bit of a history buff. I wouldn't consider myself a historian, but I've got a certainly above average knowledge of history, and sometimes very above average in regards to specific topics. So, I think, sort of exploring the dynamic of pre-industrial societies and, maybe making some parallels with the real life type of stuff. Although, by the way, not with it much intention in regards to political type stuff, because no, I kind of want to avoid that as much as possible. I don't want to touch that. Please don't kill me. So, the point being is that I want this basically to just be an experiment kind of stuff. A way to, test the waters as to how well I could do in terms of world building and storytelling on a scale that, in all honesty, I kind of find a bit more expendable than some of my other projects. Oh yeah, by the way, I do have other projects, although I'm going to reveal those a bit later because I feel like I should try to focus in on something in particular. But when I get closer to finishing up those other projects, I'll let you guys know. But anyways, so yeah, that's basically what I wanted to talk about, Antiqua Domus type of stuff, and next episode will be, well, I'll have to figure out what's the next specific element, but basically a specific part of Antiqua Domus. Probably just the broad strokes of how the world is, and, the people cultures, maybe what I've developed with the non-people cultures, who knows. We'll see where this goes. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about. Also, in regards to scheduling for videos, as you can see when I said I can't schedule properly, I wasn't lying. So, sorry about that. But hey, like I said, I warned you. For now, I'm not sure if I could say definitively, every Saturday or every other Saturday. However, I can say this. I do want to present these things at least always on a Saturday kind of stuff, because that's just the most convenient time for me to send them out. Instead of playing a strict schedule, we could play a Russian roulette kind of thing, where it's you spin around, you see what you get, and then, sometimes you get nothing, other times you get pretty lucky. Yeah, that's how I kind of want to do it right now. Oh, also, in regards to the last video where I said I'd put a link in the description to my World Anvil page, I tried doing that, but when I said so, they said, oh, you have to have express permission from the website or something, so that means you can't put it up there, so good luck to you. So, I'll let you know when I can actually put links to that later, but for now, I'm just gonna put the name of the website and where it is in there, but not any links. Sorry. I hope you're looking forward to what we're going to be exploring later. Anyways, right, I hope you have a good day, and, I'll see you around.